Yo, what's up? What's up? How y'all doing? Decided to, get back into making content. Uh, this time it's a little different. Let me know if you can hear me or not. This morning, I am currently looking at Spy, Hims, and McDonald's. Shout out to iCurly K. Uh, she made a recommendation on getting into McDonald's Corporation a couple weeks out. Apparently, McDonald's has a partnership with a movie like Roblox or Minecraft or something like that coming out. So that's going to be huge. Shout out to the chat. So I tapped into that already, and I'm currently up. And I got a call. The cool part about being in the market is when you're actually uh, when you're actually in the market and you're doing options, you can make money when the market is up, and you can make money when the market is down. And so the dope part is I went and got some calls for McDonald's for 17 April. And this is just a little tap ins that I'm tapping into. This is not financial advice. Um, and then currently I'm in Spy. I'm waiting on Spy to break this resistance level right here. And so if it can break this resistance level right here, it can fly and go all the way up to 562. It's currently at 561. Uh, if we look at this, and this is on the 5 minute time frame. If we go to the daily, we are definitely headed up. We got some bullish momentum. And the truth is, it could blow past this 562.98 area right here. Because that's just a wick. This is a pretty strong candle here. And so we wait on that to happen. Currently on the spine down 2% roughly. But once it breaks through, you can be up as much as 30, 40%, depending on how powerful the candle is. Even more than that. Right. So uh, but yeah, tapping in. This is just how my morning typically goes. Got my green juice over here. You know what I'm saying? So recently, I got laid off from my job at Dr. Pepper, and you know, I was chopping it up with some of the homies, and one of my big homies. Shout out to him. I ain't gonna put his name out there, but he recommended that I tap into things that I know how to do. Uh, as far as the market, right? I'm learning how to trade options. I'm getting really good at it. Uh, that's something that I want to explore full time, right? Um, I am currently, I'm really into fitness, so I'm looking into getting my NASM to be a certified personal trainer. I get people that chop it up with me. They want to, know, hey Tommy, how do you do this? How do you do that, etc. Uh, and so, really just tapping into those. If you want to tap into the stream, you got any questions and concerns, you can tap in on YouTube. Let's see what we got. But just tapping in and locking in, right? So if we look at our careers, right, as holistically, when I'm picking up a new career, and I've been in corporate America for a while, I spent a lot of time in the military as a leader, and so when I'm looking at a new career, I'm looking at being able to tap into the things that I don't normally do, and that will free up my daytime. So when I'm talking about freeing up my daytime, trade options, do my options trade during the daytime, and then getting my bartending on the weekends, picking up some tips, picking up some skills there. They got plenty of bartending schools in the Chicago area, so I'll be vlogging about how those things go, chopping it up on that tip. So bartending, I can do that on the weekend, make a decent amount of money, get some cash flow coming in, and then I can also, since I'm pursuing the personal training tip, I can also tap in and do massage therapy, right? So there's nothing more beautiful than a package that you can, a career that you can mold together to make yourself highly successful. And so that is huge. That is game changing right there. And then you get your own time back, right? Like imagine like all the time. So shout out to my guy Drake. I see he on Facebook, tapped in. Shout out to Jeremy. Uh, but it's one of those conversations where, if you look at your time, what can you accomplish within a daytime period, right? What can you tap into? What can you get into that's going to expand your resources, but at the same time give you freedom, right? I can personal train in another country. I can trade in another country. I can, provide stretching and all those things in another country. I can bartend in those places, right? So really think about how you can tap into different things and make them work for you, especially when you get a grand opportunity, a grand moment like I recently got, right? So we'll be chopping it up. I'll mainly be, putting most of these things on YouTube, but when I go live and I try to live stream, I'll be chopping it up with y'all on Facebook as well. Let me see the live stream. Let me mute this. Oh, what up, Ron Kenny? How you feeling, fam? I see. For some reason, the streaming platform that I'm using, they don't allow me to tap in and chat on the actual the screen here from Facebook. I don't know why, but maybe that's the integration they're working on. But I like the new streaming platform that I'm currently using. It's called Streamlab. Uh, what up, Ron Kenny? Are you still out at the plant, brother? Making it happen? Taylor, yep, Taylor, what's going on, man? Yep, keep hustling, keep grinding. Man, Taylor, man, you one hell of a salesman. It's in your blood, baby. Let's see. There you go. Show y'all some love. Hey, he said Maurice. All right, Bo. Hey, I got a little bit for you, man. Actually, it's funny. I can send over a little pamphlet for you if you DM me an email. I can send you over a little pamphlet on options trading. It'll get you started, man. I'm telling you, it's lots of volume and information there. Let me slide this over a little bit. Yeah, man. My trades is going off right now. Hims and hers. I recently, okay, yeah. So currently the SPY is going up. Hims just triggered. I just got out of Hims and because I set a stop loss. So I actually did make 30% on Hims and hers uh, health. And I'll show you. Let me make this one screen. I'll go to Hims. I'll show you where I got in and where I decided to get out. Press my screen a little bit here. So as you can see, I did my homework and I was looking at puts targets of $28 and $27. And so if we go, I typically go from like the daily time frame. And so, but I'm gonna pull up the weekly so we can actually see the candles here. Hold on, give me a second. Get my screen situated. Chat. There we go, chat. So yeah, man, send me that email and I got you, Brody. But yeah, looking at this, so what I did is for some reason out of nowhere, Hims, what's it? Yesterday. Let's go to the daily time frame. Yeah, so yesterday, for some reason, Hims had a whole lot of buying pressure here, right? Just massive buying. And I'm like, if I'm looking at this 2-2-2-2, this this 2-2-2 down, like I'm looking at it from the strat, like it's all moving. These are all outside candles, right? So I'm like, okay, and it came up, it went all the way up to 33. So in my mind, I got in at the on 32 32 puts because I wanted to short the stock. And I was projecting it was going to go down to potentially 28 because I was mapping out my daily ranges here, right? So if we're looking at, so when I'm mapping out my daily ranges, I'm looking at where it's at from the call and put standpoint. So that day, I was seeing where it could go, and that's why I got that 28 mapped out here, that 28.81 mapped out because that was a potential target for me. And then the next one was a 27. And that was a potential target for me as well, right? So I figured looking at these, hey, it could hit those, but it didn't, right? But it did dip down, right? It dipped down enough to where I can make 30% off of the actual play that I did do, right? So you see here, this next day, today is what, Wednesday, it dipped down and it kept dipping, boom, right? So once it had dipped past its lower candle, I think it dipped like, we're looking at 29.68. When it had dipped to that candle, that's when I set my stop loss. And so if you don't know what a stop loss is, a stop loss prevents you from losing more money. So what I did was, I think we'll just say it was at the stop loss, the price that I bought the premiums at, because you're buying options, right, was like, call it $1.83, right, which is going to be $183 roughly, right? So I bought those at $183, but then what happened is it shot up the premium because we were doing puts. When it goes down, the price of those options go up, right? So we was going puts, it went down to like 2. So I set my stop loss at $2, which was roughly $200, because you have to, every time that you buy an options contract, you have to buy 100 shares, right? So that is something clutch you want to do. So what happened is I ended up when it was at 2, I ended up setting my stop loss to where I could make a 30% profit. And so what we call that is we call that a trailing stop loss, right? Because then that way, every time that your options price gets close, your premium price gets close to your target, you can just continue to scale that to where you don't have nearly as many losses. So that's a huge play right there. Let's see what we still in right now. Oh my God, SPY is going crazy right now. Tap in. What are you doing, SPY? Yep, SPY is doing the big one. Let's go down to the 5-minute time frame. Let's go 10-minute. 10-minute time frame. SPY just broke a key level. Bam. 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 We got in around here, so we should be good. We're going to be cruising up here. And we'll see if it breaks this next key level. But it kept fighting right here. It was a key resistance level right here. If you see resistance right here, I can draw on this real quick. Boom. Boom. It kept stopping at that level. And we'll see if it can break this key level. If it breaks that key level, we're going to be we'd probably be roughly 70-80% profit. So currently, if we're looking at the numbers on SPY, I'm currently up. Yeah. I'm currently up like 40% roughly right there. And so, yeah, it's going to go to $51 here soon. Yep. And then that McDonald's call that's 2 weeks out. We can really, really make some bread off of that one because they got that news coming out. So the McDonald's call, we got that 2 weeks out because, like, you want to give yourself enough time for your options to go in the direction that you want them to go to. And you want to give yourself enough time to where you don't get your options don't expire worthless. But you hit my inbox, I can send you the PDF, and we can chop it up about that. But right now we just cooling. We just seeing where the money go, where the money flow, and tapping in there. But welcome to the shift. Tap in with me on YouTube at the Hungry Millennial. We back on the bandwagon doing our thing. We're going to be, pushing, what I'm saying, to really get that financial freedom and that life freedom that we have. Because, ultimately there's nothing wrong with corporate America. But the truth is I found every time I got myself into these rooms and these executive board rooms and all these things, I was very intimidated, right? I intimidated others because I was a lifelong learner. And so that shows you that you have the skills not only to be there, but to potentially run the show. But the truth is corporate America, when you look at it, you have leading, you have lagging indicators. The lagging indicators, I recently got laid off. The lagging indicators are the finances, right? But I wasn't in a position where I could affect it directly. However, they gave me a production line. I improved the production line by 20%. I started with the people. Then I started working on the processes. Some of the processes they already had in place, but they weren't systemized enough, right? So I started tapping into that, and I made vast improvements. My line went from averaging 40% on a monthly basis to averaging 60%. And then on like the week that they laid me off, we was doing like the last 2 weeks, we were throughout some of the shifts, we was running at 90%. It was pretty crazy. It was phenomenal. But you got to think about it as a person. If you can do that for a company, if you can do that for a business, imagine who you can do that for as a personal trainer, as a bartender, how many smiles you can make, as a massage therapist, how many fantastic, outstanding clients you can get. So think about all those things that tie into the things that you like to do and see if you can turn those side hustles into successful hustles for yourself. Oh my God, we just broke a key level. See if we can get some background music up in here. Y'all let me know if this music like interferes or messes up the chat or the sound. You're going hard,
Tino. I lost it all and got it back, feel like my life in Rico. So many guns like I play center drift, I got the Chico. Yeah, I heard what they said, but they don't know what we know. Now we know who really slap, who really taking lives. We go to jail and start to act like cooks, we start to play with knives. Recently, don't be surprised when niggas start to die. I'm out of town now, I'm getting money, but niggas say that's high. Young niggas call the shots, I'm acting like I'm body. Heard the scenes back to back, I'm starting to get excited. Young nigga with a tree switch, you know we body. My brother told me try some metaphor, but let me try it. Brother say I'm going fed like I ain't ate enough yet. We can activate designer shoes, I had to scuff it. Try to give me Cody vibes, she asked why I ain't cuffed it. Tell me what a nigga said, I'm ask why I ain't scuffed it. Real hitters in my city still ain't caught my bluff yet. I snitch ain't never spoke up on my name and ain't get touched yet. If I die today, this shit keep going, so I ain't done yet. Tell the truth, I'm in that mood and I ain't having fun yet. Spread a main off and kill the body, send a message. In this life we live, you gotta kill, you can't regret it. White boy, real shooter, call him JJ Ready. In the state box truck, we don't never get it.
We currently up 50%. %. We might have a shooter or a hammer up.
Okay, let me get him, baby. Ain't sparing shit. Everybody gotta get it. Every motherfucking car nigga ride niggas 10. They ain't heard nothing from the Carolinas in a minute. Nah, get on it and ride it till she finish. I get them niggas 10, 20,000, make a spin. I pull the pistol out, make it holler if you hear me. Some pretty bitches looking out the window say, they go trap. He always talk about 2 letters, cross tracks. He say he riding on whoever. Tar Heels, Carolina Blue Devils. We make it rain blue runners. New weather. I can't stand no nigga who talk that shit like he gon' shoot.
Another hammer.
Pull out and up it on whoever fucking this. So she say, I get your blue weather. I'm with this bitch since she's 5'7". I got a 5'7". I up this bitch since some shots at him. I let that 5 go for real. Come pour some water on me, make me chill. Why you keep looking like that? What's the deal? You ain't get that pussy up, I'll be for real. Ain't one of them little niggas you gotta lie to. They can't make you nut back to back the way I do. Listen, I ain't into getting out, I'm getting in my feelings. Told you not to play with my pepper. Baby ain't doing no motherfucking kissing. Cut up every bitch that don't listen. Oh, start to think that my weed need a bathroom. Pull up on them niggas and I shit it. Brought the venom out, get it for the Carolinas. I see, I'm the only nigga in it. Don't know if I bought it or a nigga with the rent it. She pull up and she swallow out my kids, I can't forget it. Even when a nigga in and out of town, get in my feelings and be bitches over here.
Upside. Upside.
In the summer, nigga cold little bitch coming hungry with a throat. Poor ass nigga, someone asking for a poke. She coming busting up for the baby, I'm the goat. But let go try. I bring that shit back like a rerun. I told you I was the season to be good.
Let's check on McDonald's real quick.
I got a plug out in Asia. He get it to me no matter the season. We serving bad making plays, and if you pull up, you can get your achievement. Say zone like I'm trying to catch 4, 5 like I'm Michael J.
Not bad. We still bullish. We still in force.
We get it on like I'm Marvin Gaye. We catch a body, then we celebrate. With you wanna try me, that's another case. We take a shot, no chase. Boom. Second on me,
And this is a weekly trade anyway, so we probably should be looking at this on the daily time frame. Yeah. We still hella bullish here. Still in that linear regression channel. So a cool thing that we learned in school was about regressions and calculations, right? And so the cool part about trading is you have a bunch of indicators. And so what I like using is the regression channel to see if it's still in force and to see where it's going. The regression channel will give you a percentage of it being in force. So it's 0.5679, or roughly 60% still in force. I like that. And so what we're looking at on a just want to look at this on, let's go to 4-hour mark. We're potentially looking at it going to the next resistance levels that we're looking at is typically going up to 323 is where we'd be looking to take profit. Yeah, 323. We'll actually go ahead and mark our lines, our levels here. And the cool part about options is like overnight it can go up. But there's the downside too is overnight you can get some news, it's gonna clap you, it's gonna take you under. But how you mitigate that risk, if you chart it out, you look at your candlesticks, you look at your indicators, you figure out what they're telling you. So we'll put I'm gonna add the strat indicator back to this. So if we're looking at this weekly, we technically have an inside candle because it hasn't beat this wick. So we're looking to take out that inside candle right there. So I'm gonna put my line right there, looking to take out that inside candle. And that's where we're looking at. If we take out this candle right here, we could definitely potentially take out this candle right here. So we're really looking at that McDonald's, seeing what happens. The cool part about McDonald's is it's one of those staples that, like, even in a recession, it's going to typically do pretty well. If we look at, we can zoom out. And I'm gonna add McDonald's because this is what I like to do. When I chart a stock, I like to add it to my watch list. So I'm gonna go over here, add it to my watch list. When I put it on my tomorrow watch list, you can do a bunch of different watch lists. The cool part is you can. I follow Kia Keeley, and I get a lot of trades from him, and I use a lot of his watch lists as well. The cool part about trading is once you get into a community, you're good to go. So you want to make sure you stay tapping into your communities, and you know what I'm saying. You get those call outs, and those call outs can be game changing call outs. Oh, spot reversing. It's reversing, but it also hasn't broke the channel yet. So it's still in force. Now, if it starts to dip below here, then we might look at getting out. But it's a day trade and we've got time. And so we're looking for it to take out this candle before we start saying, hey, it's time to get out. Because this could just be an easy fake out right here. And honestly, I may be looking for it to break structure even more to the downside. But it looks like it wants to stay up. So we'll see. Because what we're looking at in this market structure is we're looking at higher highs and higher lows, right? So when I say higher highs and higher lows, this is what I'm talking about. Better color. Talk about what he was finna do, or talk about what he was gonna do. So high, higher high, higher high. And then higher lows. Low. That's a higher low. That's a higher low right there. So higher highs, higher lows. So that's how we can tell it's still trending, it's still in force. And also, the cool part is I have an indicator from Key where if I'm looking at this line right here, it's saying it's still in force. Until this typically starts to break down and it maybe goes a little red, I'm not looking to get out. But it also depends on what time of the day you actually got into that trade. Because what'll happen is the sellers will start selling and then fake you out and then it can shoot right back up. Because this entire day's trend is actually also telling us that we're bullish on the day. We already broke this key level. So that next key level that we're looking to break is right here. And I'm trying to figure out actually where that's coming from. Yeah, we can see a while back I actually mapped this out. So we got a target level here and we got an average total range here. So technically we still may be in force. And when you're looking at day trading or if you're looking at trading in general, like for the average person, I recommend swing trading, but you can still do that with options, making money off of puts and calls. Now, if you're going to do day trades and you got time in your day, hey, maybe you ride this out all day. Some people, like our curly K this morning, she got out a little bit earlier, and she was done trading by 11 because she had appointments, right? So that's why we talked about like flexibility in employment, flexible jobs, flexible gigs that you can get into if you get really good at trading, right? So we got a potential to go. So if we can get past these levels right here, we got potential today to go all the way up to like 568.90. And that's based off of where we started. So a cool thing is if we look at what was the range today, we probably started at 557.47. Up here, I have an indicator called average true range. And what this average true range is going to do, if you add that 9.45, that 9.45 is telling you the average of the last few days of where that range has kind of bounced from the highs to the lows. And so if I take, what is that? I think we started, the opening range is at 555. So if I take 555 plus 9.45, 564 is definitely possible, right? And you saw it kind of bounced off of this range right here. And technically, my average true range would technically be at the 564 level. But if we look at this entire panel here, it could definitely go, you know what I'm saying, by the end of the day, it can definitely be on one. Because we're looking at the whole day's time frame. And then that bad boy is still trending up. Still trending up. But they do have, I think there's tariff news today, so you know that's one thing that you also want to be on the lookout when it comes to trading.
Drinks, jokes, sex, and cash. Those are 4 things I can guarantee my love. Hey, baby girl, let me see you do your dance, let me see you twirl. Take a dance in the club with your whole girl. Take a pic for the gram, show the whole world. Yeah, is that your bestie? I'm an ice boy beyond like Rescue. I'm an actual like bless me. Hit the dance floor, get nasty, impress me, baby girl. Let me see you do your dance, let me see you twirl. Take a dance in the club with your whole girl. Take a pic for the gram, show the whole world. Yeah, is that your bestie? I'm an ice boy beyond like Rescue. I'm an actual like bless me. Hit the dance floor, get nasty, impress me.
Let's check out any news. What's going on? What I like to do is I like to bookmark any type of like stock news watch companies on my bookmarks bar.
Let's get it straight, girl. You don't need a nigga for nothing. Looking better every day. You got that Benjamin Button. Claiming he don't got a
See what CNN is talking about right now?
Coming up to you as a woman. Hey, and you a boss, so you hate when niggas waste time. You too pretty to be paused on the FaceTime. Damn, I'm stating the facts. You hate that like you hate when niggas tell you relax. You want something more than just physical. It's been a while since you met someone original. You spend your time drinking wine in your living room. All that good pussy can't find the one to give it to. It's a shame. You see me, see the squad, it's a gang. You see him, it's a bomb, it's a lame. But it's a difference between me and what's his name. I swear to God, what the face? I'ma drink this Henny to the face. Fuck a condom, I'm a piece of wearing rap. I can't let no good pussy go to waste. Hey, backing it up. I'm the king of talking shit, then backing it up. Hey, backing it up. Throw that shit over here, girl. That's when it's fun.
Yep. Got a hammer to the upside. You're still in it.
You know how to make a bitch mad, don't you? Make your ex want to get back. That's a fact. Say a lot of
The cool part is on market open right now, all of the markets, the S&P, the Dow, and the NASDAQ are all up. Pre-market, they were up too. Everything on average was up like 0.30%. And I think that's why the HIMS put we were in earlier didn't go in our way. Get to the money.
everybody ready. Take too much money. Everybody ready. Same old nigga from the block. Same old nigga with the pot. Same old nigga for the trap. Everybody hated on them, they didn't.
Let's go, Hammer. Let's go. I'm getting a little warm. Yes, sir. 2-2 bullish reversal. 2 bullish reversal.
Everybody mad. Everybody mad. Same old nigga from the block. Same old nigga with the pot. Same old nigga for the trap. Everybody hated on.
Oh yeah, Jeremy, for sure. Tap in with me later, man. If you got any like specific questions, like I'll make I'll go live for you, or I'll make a video on YouTube to kind of chop it up on specific things, specific questions, things like that. I typically trade the strat, which is huge. So we'll chop it up. Let me know. Oh, we almost got a shooter now.
I'm a west side nigga, don't get it walked up. Nigga sick cause they thought I locked up. I can get it to the money. Everybody man. Nigga getting too much money. Everybody man. Same old nigga from the block. Same old nigga with the pot. Same old nigga for the trap. Everybody hated on them, they got right back. I can get it to the money. Everybody man. Nigga getting too much money. Everybody man. Same old nigga from the block. Same old nigga with the pot. Same old nigga for the trap. Everybody hated on them, they got right back. Let's go get some money, fuck that plan. I told her take this plan, then stop playing. I'm tired of buying jewelry, thinking about some land. And still trying to figure out who I am, who I be. Feel I'm talking to these hoes, they shit weak. They say money come put diamonds in my teeth. I be looking down with Jordans on my feet. Niggas messed up in your jaw like trick or treat. You better play the cards right, you better not ever reach. First thing I'm bringing, I put you underneath. Yeah, I ripped it 5, but I put you 6 feet. Hey, let's go. Get some money, fuck that bullshit. Hell yeah, I make some meals off my tools, bitch. Hell yeah, I make some meals off my merch, too. I got yellow diamonds, Super Saiyan Goku. These niggas on the killers on come to. Oh, lame ass nigga ain't got no juice. Oh, lame ass nigga ain't got no motion. Niggas I'm flexing on these niggas like I'm Hulk Hogan. Yeah, let's go. Yeah, let's go. Handle business. I'm sitting on the industry and God is my witness.
Yeah, but it's that key level earlier that it struggled to get past. Just trying to get past this key level here. And these key levels are based off of key resistance levels, key to resistance area. So currently right now, I'll fill you in on this. This is a resistance area right here. Where it just struggled to get there. And that's how it's calculating this. If you look over here, there's probably a key resistance level here as well as somewhere else. Yep, we got a lot of key resistance here. So it's actually tracking this key resistance here. That's how we're getting those target levels because we're looking at key resistance. If we pan over here and expand out, there's a lot of resistance in this area. We had to fight through this area pretty hard. So this is a key resistance area right here as well. So if we track this, almost guaranteed, helping us all the way up. Almost guaranteed they match up apples to apples. What the fuck are they gonna do with it? Bad girls on 29 on stage, working with a dictionary. Guilt trips, not church trips when it's cold out here in February. Cause right now, shorty parachute Molly like she flying for the military. This girl face so pretty, I can only think of fucking missionary. Fuck that, make a beat switch, turn the hoes up, give a ring to them. Right now, I got so many. They match up. Because that's the key resistance area right there, too. So this line is mapping that. And then this line is mapping that key resistance area right there. Almost perfectly. Bam. See that? I even put a little line here. Damn, they be dropping shit, but we be dropping harder shit. Fuck on red beef, I'm tryna get the party lit. Tryna get the party lit for the bitches. The Nike Tyson sucking on that ass like they missed it. What's up? I'm gonna add a horizontal line. It's my bar. My favorite bar. Yeah, I know that you work at the club. Let's start that up. And then, like I was saying, bam. Look at that. That's how those resistance levels. So even like when you going through your chart, you technically don't need all these indicators. But I paid for these indicators through Kia Keeley because he already had them mapped out. So it makes it easier. I don't have to have a bunch of lines on my trades. Because he already found them. Bam, like I told you, that's the key level. And then our dots right here, bam, that's the key level. And usually you go from right to left when you try to find these to figure out where it's going, right? And just trying to go hard out of this one right here. That's it, bam. Get that key level mapped out. Boom. It lines up perfectly with those hashes that we have right there. So. Clean up my chart a little bit. But the cool part about trading is you don't have to go it alone. You can also continue to tap into groups and see, hey, what are you seeing out there? And actually, that's pretty much the most efficient way to get dollars is to say, hey, what are you seeing? And then ride that out. Coming inside, I'm the living, didn't know what to say, so I lied. I take back like I'm late extra stick, trying to cook something new. It's just me and the guy. She said, I ain't even reply. Then I rolled up a wood while I gripped on the thigh. Got the kiss on the neck, know this bitch feeling high. Ain't no lie, shit up, pussy in here, kind of fire. Ended at a hotel somewhere I'm 35. Put the good and rolled over, said, wait till you're 5. Got a piss, I wake up, in the 6:39. Out of time, now I'm on the highway and I'm flying. Look at my phone, not a soul on my line. Now I'm thinking my thoughts, I'm just knowing she crying. I'm tripping, I'm trying to straight out all the lines. Cause I know if I sleep, it's gonna damage our ties. I done did it before, I can't do all this crying. So where I put the lines, it's literally bouncing off of that. Like I said, higher highs and lower lows, or higher highs and higher lows. Higher high, higher low. Now I'm thinking, should I keep the door and give everything given except for what's mine? I don't know, but now I'm at the door and she screaming, go deep, and you tell her be quiet. I walk in, tell the bitch she waps, tell the dicky he moves, and it's bad to go down. Tell the boat to shut up and don't even make a sound. She said, but I said, shut the fuck up and lay down. The next person move, I'ma let off the round. Now I'm pacing, I'm trying to see how I'm getting down. Got some momentum. Got some momentum.
Look at me now. One in the chamber, two face on the ground. I be like, should I leave with this burn street down? I wake up, piece of dream. I'm outside of my house.
Trying to figure out what I should have for lunch, man. Sometimes having this freedom, man, it'd be too much freedom being in the military, man. I remember, you know what I'm saying, being on base, you know what I'm saying, the meals are prepared for you, you can tap in, you know what I'm saying, get whatever fixed up. You can get the egg whites with the mushrooms, the peppers, with the ham, cheese, and nothing like a good deployment, man. Shout out to the, the 92 golfs of the world and all everybody that makes it happen for us overseas. But lately, I've been trying to get into like salads and stuff like that. But here at about 11:15, I'm gonna tap out with y'all. I appreciate y'all tapping in, and we'll see where the market goes from there. The cool part about the market is you can set your alarms and set your alerts so where it's gonna go, and then you can get out accordingly. And like I said earlier, we talked about trailing stop losses. You do that as well.
Some of y'all go get wild. Some of y'all just go pop shit. Some of y'all just go talk. And none of y'all ain't really got shit. Some of y'all just look lost. I'm getting this type of feeling when the thoughts come true. I swear I'll be at peace if it weren't for you. Yeah, only want you to be beside me.
What up, Anthony Witt?
That's the way I like it.
St. Louis OG.
That's the way I like it. That's the way I like it. That's the way I like it. I'm 30 for 30, I'm 30 for 30, I'm 30 for 30, I'm 30 for 30.
Chad.
Before that bitch know yoga mat. Chad. Right there, that nigga don't hit me back. Chad. Surrender to your question back. Chad. They chat. You so that you can make me feel love. And I've been going on since the fall. Even good, but I know no one to call. They cut me up. You give me high, you my baby, cause the best alive. But things like that, that's my only vibe. I take it off and you tell me if I'm feeling fine. I want it up, whiskey all like some morning dice. Taking it all, it's my second life.
One thing that I wish I would have known years ago is when somebody's just telling you buy the dip. It sounds good, but you gotta ask yourself, which dip are you actually buying? Because you might be buying a dip on a daily time frame, but it may be the high on a weekly. So you really gotta know and study the market and understand what you're doing. Look at the news and tap in, man. And every day, the cool part is even learning all these things. It seems so complicated. Every day, I'm always learning from somebody. Like my algorithm is just so full of people who are pouring into me, pouring into other people, and spreading that market knowledge. And whether they trade options or not, even if they trade traditional shares, because I've been there. I remember when Nvidia was booming last year, I made a lot of money. But I got clapped because I didn't fully know what I was doing. I think I went up from I had 1,000 flips to $4,000, and they got clapped. But around that time, me and my guy, shout out to Sean Hudson, he used to be a podcast co-host of mine. At that time, he was talking about options, and then I started learning about options. And he did one of the same thing. He went up a crazy, absurd amount, right? But the bid-ask spread, and he didn't know about this at the time. I didn't know much about it at the time either. But the bid-ask spread was way too wide, and he couldn't get anybody to buy the contracts. And so he ended up having to sell at like 25%, or I think it was like maybe 15% of what he made. So say he went up from $1,000 to 10,000, he damn near only got out with like $2,000, $1,000, right? So you want to be very cautious of those things. And like I said earlier during the stream, tap in with me on YouTube at the Hungry Millennial. Also tap in with me if you want. I can send over how to the options PDF that I got from a trading group a long time ago to kind of walk you through some of those things. And like it specifically talks about bid ask spreads, right? It talks about the candlestick patterns, right? What a wick is, what the body of a candle is, what's a up candle, what's a down candle, what's a two, what's a one. The cool part is while we chopping it up, I know we got like 4 minutes left. We taking off right now. I love it. The cool part here is if you look at these candles, that a one represents an inside candle, a two represents an outside candle. It can be two down, it can be two up. But the cool part about the strat is you can have a strat assistant that shows you the numbers and where they're going. So this is a two, and then so if you look at here, it's a 2-1-2 bullish continuation measure move. So that 2-1-2 bullish reversal. As it reversed off of this down here, went up. Changes. That can be dangerous. That can be dangerous. I can see me doing just fine with the things you do now, but I don't see it lasting long. I can see me ordering too many drinks at the park in the morning. That's what I do when I'm trying to drink you. So I don't want to go downtown. We used to. Uh-oh, here come a big pop. Let's do it. Let's go, Spy. You got somebody else that you've been fooling. Them tactics up your sleeve, yeah. Ooh, I used to be the top to be at too, but you ruined that for me. So I don't wanna go down. It's funny. So shout out to James Wrigley, shout out to Richard Timothy, both former sergeant majors of mine, both phenomenal guys. I appreciate y'all tapping in. Thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate the likes. YouTube saw Sergeant Major's YouTube. Well, one of you as my first sergeant at first, and eventually a sergeant major. You saw a young man with a lot of potential, and I appreciate you guys for pouring into me and investing in me. You'd be surprised, and throughout my military career, how many leaders just looked at you as just another number on a spreadsheet. And but I can say that I was surrounded by true leaders of men. And even when we had to have hard conversations, you had the hard conversations, and you were very respectful, and you helped me keep my head up. So thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate y'all. The sergeant majors, don't step on that grass. While I'm doing lunch, the cool part is you could actually set alerts and reminders. So while I'm on lunch, I'll set an alert or reminder for these key levels. So that way, set an alarm for these alert for these key levels, so that way, if they go where I want them to go, I can get out. Or if they reverse on me, I can get out, and I'm alerted every time. And the cool part is I also have TradeView. This app is called TradeView. I have TradeView on my phone as well, so it'll ping in my pocket while I'm making lunch, etc., etc. So really, I'm looking at this range is if it bounces here, it goes past here. And if it breaks here, I like putting an alert here. If it breaks down here, because that means it's possibly breaking trend. Then I'll put another one up here. And here I can set the conditions. So I'm gonna set it at the price target right there because that's the price target. That is five. Is that 564.75? Looks like it's really struggling at this level. But if we blow past here, see, yep, there's that edit alert right there. Well, all right, fam. I appreciate y'all tapping in today. We'll tap in later. Again, like, comment, subscribe on YouTube. If you have any questions, feel free to inbox me DM. I'll make content on it. I'll talk about it in live streams. And then if you got any tools, information, you got some information on the stock market, something I should check out, send it my way. This is all about the shifting mindsets, shifting careers, shifting concepts, shifting how we do our day-to-day. I appreciate you tapping in with the shift with the Hungry Millennial. Hungry Millennial out. Thank you, guys.